Hey everybody, Trolley Bully here, the troll you can trust, back with the Walking Dead roast by video, featuring Marlon and Rosie. Okay. I need to get these jokes out of the way first and foremost because there is just too much joke material here and I won't even be able to cover it all. So, sorry ladies, but I'm gonna have to make fun of this gorgeous stud muffin, so hold back those fingernails and things because Joe Dirt's and Eugene's son is about to be talked about. So it looks like the incestuous family of OG trainers have finally produced an actual survivor, which I have no idea how he was conceived since all the OG trainers are swinging dicks, and we don't even have a single grill in here, and no, we are not bringing Lilith into this. Looking at Marlon, I would honestly think Rosie has a higher intelligence. I feel Marlon is the guy with intelligence of 1 in the old school Fallout games where he just, if he wants to speak, he just kind of grunts and mumbles. Since we have plenty of cats running around, it was time for a doggo, even though I was rooting for this one. But we have a doggo, and she goes by Rosie. Grrr. Don't you growl at me. Close your damn mouth. You only bark. Bark. So now with the introduction of the Telltale Games children, we now have the RTS version of Stranger Things. The only difference between these two universes is that the kids will probably be turned into zombie shit at the end of all this. Now that that's out of my system, let's talk about the hardest hitting duo in the game by far, Marlon and Rosie. Even though they are a duo, they are considered a single entity just like any other survivor in the game. I just want to throw out right now, if your roster lacks any sort of damage, or you're all yellow, all melee, Garrett leader teams, or where yellow can benefit from a leader to be used, then I would highly recommend Marlon, and I do wish you all the best of luck in doing so, if you pull for him. The one thing that sits in my mind here is that Marlon, to me, seems on a whole nother tier above all the other damage dealers. So in the back of my mind, I am expecting some pretty crazy good defense tunes on the horizon, as this is following the character development Scopely does. They normally release high damage output tunes, and then the defensive ones follow. I noticed damage before defense. If the damage isn't there, then odds are the defense will win, or the defense team will take longer than desired. There is a 5-minute timer for battles, but think of it as, do you think battles were designed to take anywhere around 5 minutes? I personally would say no way. That would mean around 12 to 15 raids-ish per hour by design, which would be a disaster in terms of time's sake, such as like for raid tournaments. I feel would be a nightmare for the amount of time needed just to reach milestones. But hold me to this prediction, everybody, as I have yet to be wrong. That's right. Go and check my other videos and you will see the other predictions have come true. His attack is high and great for scaling, and if you are wanting him full on offense, I would highly recommend buffing his attack with combat mods. His defense is actually decent, sitting just shy of 1500, which is similar to a blue Command Sadiq. So if you have Command Sadiq, there is an idea of what to expect in terms of how much damage Marlon can take. His max HP is considerably the same thing as what comes out of Rosie's ass, dog shit. So let's take a look at Marlon's Adrenaline Rush. Savage Chomps is a 66 AP Adrenaline Rush with 500% damage to 2 enemies, which is insanely good. Marlon gets 2 turns of 60% attack, which he will more than likely miss out on a turn of a 60% attack, as if I had to guess, he was probably commanded to use his Adrenaline Rush. For non-PvP instances, he is incredibly strong, seeing as if you have a human shield, you can funnel all the damage and anything that would impair or stun him to the human shield, allowing him free reign with his increased damage from on a roll. Imagine wave 3 or 4, he is probably hitting incredibly hard. His active skill is Heal and Recover Impair, which, in all honesty, for a damage character, I am not too mad about this. So think about this. Say, for example, you're attacking somebody and somebody neutralizes him. You now have the ability to use his active skill, give him a little bit of HP, and then command him to then use his Adrenaline Rush. So I see this as a very nice active skill for a damage dealer, based on his skill setup and his stats. The new specialist skill to the game is On a Roll. On a Roll simply gives him 20% attack at the end of each turn. So after the left team and the right team attacks, boom, 20% attack increase. This stacks as well with other buffs, making Marlon an absolute monster in anything that prolongs the fight. There are routes you can take with Marlon's Pooch. Not sure what the hell Earl would think if we showed up holding in our hands Rosie and say to him, make her stronger. It's almost like we're making a Transformer Rosie, and PETA would be pretty pissed. So the first route, which would be on offense, is the OG turn 1 takeout. You have a chance of a turn 1 Adrenaline Rush to be commanded, or you can have a 100% chance of having this guy use his Adrenaline Rush on turn 2. So your AP generation will be 35 per attack. And if Marlon's Borker procs for the 50% AP, then you get a potential first turn, because it would be 35 plus the 33 from the Borker would give you 68 AP, giving you the ability to command the doggo turn 1. The other route I would say is, hey, why not? Let's try it on defense. Let's call it Team Guard Dog. Garrett, Carl, Rosita Leader are good. Basically anyone that can help Marlon benefit from 40% defense and 40% HP. Possibly recommend 1 or 2 human shields. Still craft 3 attacks on his weapon, go to 45% attack. We're not going to touch Marlon's AP generation as he has a 66 AR and 25 AP on defense per attack turns into 35 AP, which beats the magic number we want, which is anything above 33. So the AI can give Marlon command turn 1 if the 50% weapon mod procs, or have the AI command Marlon turn 2 since we made it to where he gets over 50% AP of his AR per attack. Marlon on attack has a lot more flexibility than on defense, as I feel he needs 2 human shields and the ability to not die turn 1 on defense. I will talk more about the defense with Marlon in the team comp section, but his weapon is pretty streamlined with what's just going all out on his attack, which is 45%. That will pretty much add the most amount of pressure to him. So the combat mods I broke up into an offensive and defense approach. So the offensive one is the set bonus attack. Go with the attack combat mod. Attack first red. Blue, mainly he's going to be strong against. Well, we're going to be really wanting him to crush blues. Red's going to be a byproduct of going against ranged teams. So let's crush reds too. Stun resist, due to the reds. Attack while impaired, because in case we happen to get impaired, let's not make sure we're completely useless. We will still have an attack increase, which will just keep shredding. Confuse resist, mainly because we don't want, say, I don't know, multiple stacks of on a roll, and then you just go and start you start going for the jugular and everybody in your team, and everyone just starts falling over because your damage output's too high. We want to prevent that. Combat mods for defense. The set, let's go for defense, health combat mod, defense versus screens. Since we really have no control of whoever we're going to be going up against while on defense, we have to expect that the trade advantage is going to hit them. So let's go defense versus screens. Screens bring a lot of stun. Let's also go with attack while impaired in case he gets neutralized. We can also fire back with some pretty hard-hitting basic attacks. And confuse resist for the same reason, as we don't want to slaughter our own team. So now let's talk about some team comps with Marlon and Rosie. And we're first going to start off with the Dream Team. I am pretty sure if you have this team, you can autoplay and probably beat anything out there, unless you really get some horrendous RNG, then whatever. Next team, the Winter Jesus team, would be a nice verse range, as it would allow yourself to bring a disarm to lead the way for Marlon, so he doesn't stun or impair himself, so he can be commanded to then slap Dabarino the other team up. Next, for the third attack team, is the Connor Rick team, which is good against multiple Magnas built like a brick house. And so let's quickly jump over to the defense side of things, and we're going to start off with the Garrett Defense. So we have a Garrett Defense with Marlon being the pressure of the team. Sadiq for our command, and Jesus for the human shield to help buy us a turn, and Mackenzie or Yvette for the sustain and CC removal / prevention. If we bring Mackenzie, a revive on Marlon could win the match, and a retribution popping off could also get Marlon to use his AR unexpectedly. This next Carl team is not a bad team here, as Koa can provide some negative AP down to buy your team AP advantage to win. Because as we all know, Marlon is a high threat, high pressure survivor, so even letting him get one AR off could make or break the match. And so the final defensive team comp is more along the lines of kind of like what I like to make. I really do like having 3 damage dealers with 2 people supporting them, along with some crowd control coming from either the damage dealer or the supporters. And by supporters here, I mean tanks, medics, and actual support role classes. Carl for the sustain, Koa to buy yourself a turn or 2 here and there, Marlon, Green Shiva, and Yellow Shiva all here just to absolutely obliterate the enemy team. If something happens to go wrong early, it should snowball in your favor. Just because you have so much offensive pressure that if something was to go wrong and go in your favor, such as a Koa AP down, or you happen to get some stuns off of your auto attacks from Carl, Shiva, then yes, you could really be looking at an easy win. But other than that, thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed the video and made you laugh before you do anything positive, please give a nice karate chop to that like and subscribe button, and make sure to leave a comment down below. Support's really appreciated, and other than that, I will catch you all in the next video. Bye bye!